This has got to be one of the best ice climbs I've ever done. Ouch! Okay, first things first, we are all the way up in Quebec where they aggressively don't speak English, and I ignorantly don't speak French, so this video is going to be littered with poor pronunciation. Today we are climbing Le Triolet, this beautiful golden ribbon of ice right here. I spent the first half of this trip pronouncing it Le Toilet, simultaneously thinking that that couldn't be right, and obnoxiously correcting my climbing partners, Amy and Sonia, on their own pronunciation attempts. Sorry guys. I've been increasingly interested in the ice climbing objectives up here in eastern Canada after a trip I took here to explore an incredible region called Gaspésie, which is this funny peninsula that sits between Maine and the St. Lawrence Sound. Right before that trip, I'd spent the previous 2 weeks returning from a film shoot in Antarctica, and I was blown away by how remote, beautiful, and straight up Arctic of an environment I could find myself in, within a day's drive of my house in Jersey. Most importantly though, the ice was incredible and literally roadside, which was super convenient since I was climbing with my cousin Mike and we were base camped out of his converted minibus. Anyway, today we're on the other side of the St. Lawrence Sound in a place called Haute Gorge de la Riviere Malbaie, which I will from now on refer to as the High Gorge of the Malbaie. This is an amazing zone that includes the crown jewel of the East Coast, Pomme d'Or. Up until relatively recently, it was very hard to get back here in the winter, but a few years ago they began to plow the road and it's become much easier. They even have bathrooms in a staging area that's heated and open 24/7, which is just fabulous. There's a handy whiteboard for climbers to sign in on that lets you get a feel for who's doing what on any particular day. Today we're leaving at 6 a.m. and there's already a bunch of parties out there getting after it, which is a testament to how big the objectives are out here. You get a full frontal look at Le Triolet on the drive into the park, and in this foreshortened perspective, the route looks wildly ferocious. Alright, let's get into it. Each pitch is a full 70-meter rope stretcher. The first going at WI2 and bringing you to a beautiful cave fillet where one should be careful not to stand in the fall zone beneath the daggers above. Pitch 2 is wide enough to offer options from WI3 to WI4 and makes for a great photo op right off the belay. That pole sticking out of my backpack? That's a 360 camera. It makes me look like a total dork, but it gets some really great footage. Like this clip of me struggling to get my tools out of the ice. Honestly, this is one of the worst parts of ice climbing and always ends up taking up a lot of energy. Finally. Pitch 3 gets a guidebook rating of 4+, and definitely looks a lot more sustained and intimidating than the last two.
Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Let's see how it goes.
Did I already tighten my boot or did I not already tighten my boot?
Nice. 40 feet up or so, and someone's left a V-thread. So I'll clip it as a freebie. The first half of this is all WI3, with many concavities to take the edge off of any vertical sections. This is fun and cruisy climbing, and I'm only placing screws every now and again. As I'm getting closer to the pillar at the top of the route, it's starting to look a lot steeper than it did from the belay. Thankfully, I'm at a comfy stance where I can drop my heel and take some strain off my arms. I'm going to place one more screw and make sure I'm well rested before the next section. Check out that ice core. Anytime something like that is coming out of your screw, you know it's good. All right, one more moment of rest. Alright, let's see how this goes. Definitely a little pumpier than I imagined. And I've already got another screw in since the last good rest. The ice is more brittle up here, and I'm having to work a lot more for my sticks. Occasionally, I'm even sending down some pretty big chunks. But I'm getting pretty close to the top, so I just need to keep it together for a little bit longer. Now seems like a good time to drop in a screw before I shake out my arms and move into the bulge at the top of the pillar. The ice on bulges always tends to be a little funny, so I'm making sure I have good feet before hooking this weird frozen post hole. And pitch 3 is in the bag. Pitch 4 is listed as WI5 in the guidebooks, but we found it to be in easier condition than the previous pitch on this day. I guess ice is just variable like that. A small final wall brings you to the top of the climb, and voila! I don't think it gets much better than that.
Wow. What a route. That was great.
Although La Triolet looks mega burly from the front, viewing it from the side reveals that the climb is not actually an unrelenting battle of steep ice, but rather 4 distinct sections of relatively moderate climbing with very comfortable ledges in between. With its spectacular position, warm southern aspect, low avalanche risk, and inherent beauty, this thing just begs to be climbed. It's not the hardest bit of ice in the world, but I'm willing to bet it's up there amongst the most pleasant. In a league akin to the famous Professor Falls in Banff, which might actually be the most pleasant.